It's a drug that gets a bad rap because if you just have a little, it's great.
Fine.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the most famous episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience.
Have you heard this before?
No, I just can't believe I didn't want to have Alex on the podcast.
No, but
Number 10, Kanye West.
Hello, Mr. West.
What's up?
What's going on, man? Good to see you.
Good seeing you too.
We finally did it. We're here. We made it happen.
We're in the building. Yes, sir.
A 3-hour talk with Kanye West is sure to break the internet, no matter who is conducting it. This was one of the most highly anticipated episodes in JRE history. Given Kanye's unpredictable nature and his then ongoing presidential campaign, which many considered a joke, it did not disappoint.
Revenge of the Sith, we saw how Darth Vader was made.
Yeah.
Like, I watched that like 10 times during COVID.
The two discussed topics like Yee's mental health, his vision for the future, and his creative genius as a musician and producer. The episode quickly went viral, accumulating millions of views and spawning tons of memes about Kanye's long-winded and often rambling monologues. It also remains one of the most polarizing episodes in the show's history, with some praising Yee's unfiltered opinions and others criticizing them as incoherent nonsense.
I mean, some of it comes to, I'm dealing with issues that are not just, black and racial issues. I'm dealing with maverick, innovator issues.
Number 9, Robert Downey Jr.
Did you have anybody that was telling you not to do it? Were there a bunch of agents or anyone who was like...
my mother was horrified.
Released in January 2020, the episode with Robert Downey Jr. came at the height of his powers, with Endgame having just finished its theatrical run. This was quite a muted episode of JRE, absent of the typical flair that Rogan's interviews are known for. The two discussed things like Downey's career, his troubled past, and the cultural influence of the MCU. They also debated the controversy behind Tropic Thunder and the character of Kirk Lazarus, which became the most famous segment of the conversation.
Do you think that you could do Tropic Thunder today? Would that be possible?
Oh, you could do it.
Despite the more traditional topics and short length, the episode was enormously popular. Such is the magnetic power of Robert Downey Jr., especially post-Endgame Robert Downey Jr.
Because I was doing this before I ever got fitted for the RT, so it was more of art imitating oddball stuff I was doing anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
but Iron Man, obviously, that's even more interesting because maybe you were born to be Iron Man because Iron Man obviously had that from the comic books.
Number 8, Bob Lazar and Jeremy Corbell.
Bob, thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I understand that you've told this story many, many times. You've been grilled many, many times, and it's very stressful for you, so I really, really appreciate your time.
The nice thing about JRE is that it spans cultural divides. Fans of celebrities come for Kanye and RDJ, while others, shall we say, conspiracy-minded people, flock to Bob Lazar and Jeremy Corbell. Corbell is a filmmaker and Lazar a prominent conspiracy theorist, and together they created the Netflix documentary Bob Lazar, Area 51, and Flying Saucers. This episode is a drug for those who believe in UFOs, with Lazar waxing poetic about alien technology, exotic elements, shadowy government organizations, and Area 51.
Directly under that, those are the gravity amplifiers, the big rectangular objects. Underneath them are the gravity emitters that look like, for lack of a better word, a trash can hanging on a pipe.
It's like if Steven Spielberg wrote a podcast script. And like most great stories, the episode became a cultural phenomenon, spawning tons of media interest and fueling debates on UFOs and government secrecy.
Well, what have you read? What
What
you
you saw, too.
What are you talking about? Spill the beans, Bob.
I got to poke the bear here a little.
Get some more liquor in you.
Number 7, Flint, Dibble, and Graham Hancock.
All right. Well, this took a lot of time to organize, but I'm very excited, and I'm happy you're both here.
The pseudo-archaeologist Graham Hancock has been a mainstay on Rogan for years, attracting popularity for his outlandish and controversial ideas. But it was time for Hancock to meet his maker. In came professional archaeologist Flint Dibble, who was brought on to counter Hancock's opinions and flawed approach to science. The result was podcast gold.
Ancient Apocalypse is the most dangerous show on Netflix. You used the word dangerous
Where?
repeatedly in your conversation piece.
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever called you dangerous, Graham.
This quickly became one of the most popular episodes of the show, attracting acclaim for its interesting content, the antagonistic relationship between Dibble and Hancock, and the appearance of Dibble, who many likened to Indiana Jones. It didn't really matter what side you took, we all just came for the spectacle.
It's 99.91% accurate, more accurate than the height of the Great Pyramid. So every time you smoke a joint, you are connecting with the Earth mathematically.
Number 6, Bernie Sanders.
It's exciting to have you here, man, and it's obviously an exciting time for you. Presidential campaign is up in full swing.
This Democratic politician was all the rage in the late 2010s, especially among younger voters who were drawn to his progressive policies. Joe Rogan was also a fan, resulting in Sanders' internet-breaking appearance on the show in August 2019. The two touched on a number of important topics close to the heart of many Americans, including healthcare reform, income inequality, climate change, and the popularity of Rogan's show helped his message reach a wider audience.
Now you're asking, this is a very, very deep question, which we don't talk about terribly much. Why is it that so many of our people are turning to drugs?
The episode quickly went viral, with many praising Sanders for his authentic and unfiltered conversation, in contrast to the more traditional media soundbites. The Bernie campaign even promoted Rogan's endorsement, highlighting his growing influence in political discourse.
What they are is a, reality TV show in which you have to come up with a soundbite and all that stuff. And it's the meaning. It's the meaning to the candidates, and it's the meaning to the American people. You can't explain the complexity of healthcare in America in 45 seconds. Nobody can.
Number 5, Alex Jones.
Planes land, and they take the organs, then they take the blood, and they take the skin, Joe. You see how it works? Now
Dude,
you
you're
know
freaking
why.
me out with his voice.
If this isn't the most popular episode of JRE, it's most certainly the wildest. The controversial conspiracy theorist Alex Jones was joined by Eddie Bravo, and what resulted was nearly 5 hours of screaming, yelling, and chest puffing.
I came here and I proved they're keeping babies alive and taking their organs. How did you prove that?
Jones made a range of extreme claims focusing on all sorts of gonzo conspiracy theories, and both Rogan and Bravo often challenged his beliefs, sending Jones into a fury. The episode gained massive traction due to Jones's over-the-top personality and chaotic energy, with many clips going viral and spawning memes. For many, this is what the Joe Rogan Experience is all about.
Tell me how the connection between aliens and the Nazis took place. When did all this start?
Let me begin. This is really, I'm telling you, Joe, this is a real deal.
I believe you.
Number 4, Mark Zuckerberg.
The kind of masculine energy, I think, is good. And
Yeah.
obviously, society has plenty of that, but I think corporate culture was really like trying to get away from it.
The Meta founder has appeared twice on Rogan, both times generating widespread interest from the public. That said, the 2025 appearance is the more popular one, having come at a time of intense cultural uncertainty. Donald Trump had just won the presidency, and it seemed that cultural values were shifting. Zuckerberg leaned into these shifts, explaining that Meta will be scaling back content moderation efforts, emphasizing free speech and discouraging censorship.
I kind of think, like, after having gone through that whole exercise, it I don't know, it's something out of 1984, one of these books where it's just like it really is a slippery slope.
He also expressed some controversial observations about the workplace, explaining that corporate America was lacking a masculine energy. The episode was enormously popular and generated a huge cultural discussion, with Zuckerberg's comments drawing a fierce reaction. Many also doubted his authenticity and criticized his apparent backpedaling in the wake of Trump's win.
And now that's what you get all day long on X. It's all day long is like dissolving illusions. Mm-hmm. And that's a completely new thing that probably led to Trump getting elected.
Yeah, I mean, the causality there is tricky, but because there's a lot of things.
Number 3, Edward Snowden.
Are you aware at all of the current state of surveillance and what, if anything, has changed since your revelations?
And speaking of divisive figures, how about that Edward Snowden? The famous whistleblower was piped in from Russia, which is where he has lived since going public in 2013. And his name was enough to cause plenty of eyeballs to pop. Edward Snowden? We're in.
But now people are much less likely to use a laptop than use a desktop than use, God, any kind of wired phone, than they are to use a smartphone. And both Apple and Android devices, unfortunately, are not especially good in protecting your privacy.
He and Rogan touched on all the stuff you'd expect, like mass surveillance, media manipulation, individual privacy, and how the decision to leak classified information has personally impacted Snowden. Unsurprisingly, the episode quickly became one of the most watched episodes in the history of JRE, with Snowden's insights resonating with many listeners and once again fueling debates about government overreach.
Rather than make the agencies comply with the law. That's a problem, and that's what happened here.
Number 2, Elon Musk.
There's no point in being pessimistic. It's just too negative.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't help. I think you want to be... my theory is you'd rather be optimistic. I think I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right.
When did the Joe Rogan Experience explode in popularity and become a household name? A case could certainly be made for September 6th, 2018. This is when Elon Musk appeared and blew everyone away with a wide array of interesting topics, like the future of AI, Neuralink, automation, and the colonization of Mars. Also, flamethrowers.
Does anybody tell you no? Does anybody go, Elon, maybe for yourself, but selling a flamethrower, the liabilities, all the people you're selling this device to, what kind of unhinged people are going to be buying a flamethrower in the first place? Do we really want to connect ourselves to all these potential arsonists?
Yeah, it's a terrible idea.
And who can forget the infamous marijuana moment, which quickly went viral and became a huge meme. It also caused real-world ramifications, with Tesla stock temporarily dropping in the wake of the controversy. This is easily one of the most popular episodes in the show's history, doing huge numbers on YouTube, spawning memes, and cementing JRE as a cultural phenomenon.
It's been an honor. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for doing this, because I know you don't do a lot of long-form stuff like this. I hope I didn't weird you out, and I hope you don't get mad that you smoke weed.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Donald Trump.
I said, if that plant is there when I'm president, I will put 100 or 200% tariffs on every car. They'll be unsaleable in the United States. And they just announced they're not going to build the plant because they think I'm going to win.
Love it or hate it, there's no other guest that even comes close in terms of popularity. The Donald Trump episode didn't just break the internet, it shattered it into a million pieces. As of February 2025, it is the second most viewed episode on YouTube, despite only being 3 months old. And it's only a matter of time before it claims the top spot.
So I took it from almost 40% down to 21%. Now I'm bringing it from 21 down to 15, but only if you make your product in the United States, which is great. People call me, they said, what a great idea. Nobody ever heard of that before.
This episode was so huge and influential that people were saying it swayed the election in Trump's favor. We don't know if we'd go that far, but the fact that people are thinking it speaks to how far JRE has come and what a dominant force it is in the current cultural landscape.
We had the greatest economy in history. Never has there been an economy like
And you
this.
attribute that to lowering taxes
a lot
and
of
tariffs.
Two things. And also I cut regulations more than anybody else.
Did we miss any huge guests? Let us know in the comments below.
Elon Musk, this has been a pleasure.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.